Business means we welcome our business editor, Kate Moody, here to the studio. Kate, great to see you as always.
Hi, Mark.
Starting with a warning for anyone hoping to travel for the summer holidays. Europe may run out of jet fuel in 6 weeks' time.
Mark, supplies are dwindling and prices are rising. We've heard from the Dutch carrier KLM today saying it'll be cancelling 160 flights in Europe just in the coming month. EasyJet warning of big losses for the first half of the year. Lufthansa closing a regional subsidiary. Those three big announcements all coming today, this Thursday, because of concerns about jet fuel. Now, like petrol and diesel, jet fuel is a refined petroleum product made from crude oil. Around 40% of Europe's jet fuel comes through the Strait of Hormuz, so deliveries have dwindled since the war in Iran began. A barrel of jet fuel cost 120% more last week than it did 1 year earlier, averaging just under $200 per barrel. On this graph, you can see jet fuel prices in blue, Brent crude in green there. So you can see jet fuel always costs more than crude, but that gap has widened significantly in recent weeks. Now, it's understood that European officials are drafting plans to tackle a looming shortage, while airlines are already sounding the alarm. Luke Schrago has more.
After fuel chaos for ground-based transport, now fallout from the Iran war is hitting air travel, and European airlines in particular are poorly placed to handle looming shortages.
We are in Europe, we have maybe 6 weeks or so jet fuel left. If we are not able to open the Strait of Hormuz, we will hear the news that some of the flights from city A to city B might be cancelled as a result of lack of jet fuel.
Refinery closures across Europe in recent decades have left it heavily reliant on imported jet fuel, prices for which have roughly doubled since the start of the war. 41% of Europe's jet fuel imports transit through the Strait of Hormuz, and while the continent has been relying on shipments that left before the conflict, those deliveries are drying up, leaving airlines looking for ways to mitigate the financial burden, from cancelling and consolidating flights to raising fees for optional services, along with fares and fuel surcharges. Some companies, like low-cost carrier EasyJet, have locked in fuel prices over the summer, but that won't last.
As expected, the booking curve has shortened in recent weeks, resulting in lower than normal forward visibility. EasyJet is 70% hedged at $706 per metric ton for jet fuel over the summer period, although fuel prices remain volatile for the unhedged portion.
With summer travel giving airlines their most profitable period of the year, fuel demand is sure to rise in the weeks ahead. But unless some agreement can be found to unblock the Strait of Hormuz, and soon, flights in Europe could start to see themselves grounded as soon as June.
And let's check in on the oil markets now. Oil prices rising once again this Thursday as traders see little chance of an immediate end to that conflict. US WTI just under $94 per barrel. The international benchmark Brent crude higher at around $98.69. The finance ministers of Germany and France have urged leaders not to forget Russia's war in Ukraine. France's Roland Lescure said that Ukraine could not become collateral damage because of the war in Iran, while his German counterpart said Russia should not emerge as the victor. This as the IMF upgraded its forecast for Russia's economic growth, citing more revenue from high oil prices.
It's not in our interest, and it cannot be in the interest of the United States, that Russia is the winner of the war in Iran. We see that their economy is growing. We see that they make profit from the energy situation, and this is a clear signal, and I mentioned this also in G7 to our friends in the United States. Russia is the winner of the situation, and this is not a good situation, and we have to be very clear about it.
Well, the European Union is preparing to finalise a €90 billion loan to Ukraine following the defeat of Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban in last weekend's parliamentary election. Orban had been blocking the funds over damage to a crucial oil pipeline that passes through Ukraine to Hungary. Speaking with Ukraine's finance minister in Washington, the EU's enlargement commissioner said on Thursday that the chances of Ukraine now receiving that €90 billion in funding were 100%. Separately, she said the EU would be releasing up to €2.7 billion to Ukraine after its parliament completed reforms last week. I've been speaking to Balázs Szent Iványi, reader in politics at Aston University's Centre for Europe. He says that Hungary's incoming Prime Minister, Peter Magyar, has signalled he will remove that veto on the Ukrainian loan, but only under certain conditions.
The main thing he's interested in is making sure that Hungary is not involved in the loan. If this is granted, which Orbán has actually negotiated, Hungary, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic have an opt-out from this loan, then he will not veto the loan itself. But mind you, Ukraine is a heavily politicized topic in Hungary, and Peter Magyar and the Tisza party have by no means portrayed themselves as pro-Ukrainian actors during the election campaign.
And Mark, EU officials will be visiting Budapest this Friday to meet with Magyar and discuss that EU loan, as well as what the incoming government might need to do to unblock some 20 billion euros in European funding for Hungary. Lots to unpick there.
I know that you'll be watching that very closely indeed. Kate, as always, thank you very much indeed. Kate Moody, our business editor, back in round about an hour's time with another business update.